Human Gambits series, Book 1, Chapter 12, Max and Sophiah. A chime from the panel awakens Max. It seems too early for the dead man reminder, he thinks, and he's right. It seems the autopilot has hit a snag. He checks the update on the display. The ship is stationary and awaiting feedback from the last pilot probe sent forward. Before Max can even begin to investigate the issue, another icon pops up. A second probe has stopped responding to commands. Then, more icons appear. The remaining pilot probes have dropped communications with the ship in rapid succession. Max struggles to make sense of the situation. It's hard to believe that all the probes would fail at the same time. They're all in different locations. It seems more likely that there is a malfunction with the ship. Max starts with self-diagnostics of the ship's communications suite. The internal diagnostics check out, and the external communications also seem fine. Scrappy 1 is still receiving telemetry from the previous probe jumps and the continuous telemetry feed from Wildstar. A priority communications update from Command Central appears on the console, and Max touches the icon. Max, we've been monitoring the situation. Can you confirm the loss of communications with the pilot probes? Also, we're picking up anomalous transmissions coming from the area of the comet that are directed at the probes. We know the transmissions are meant for the probes because they are using the probes' protocols. It seems someone in the vicinity of the comet might know you're coming and is possibly trying to stop you, says Command Central. Max transmits a reply. He confirms the loss of contact with the pilot probes and that his internal ship checks have come up clean. The error is not with the ship. Suddenly, all incoming communications cease. A new icon on the display shows that the manual relay connection to the ship's antenna has been disengaged. The ship's autopilot should only disengage this relay if it were getting ready to move the ship. Then, an icon pops into view that Max has never seen before. The words, "Emergency AI Communications" appear, encircling the icon. Max ignores the new icon and tries to reconnect the antenna. The manual relay begins to connect and then disconnects again. Max starts a second try when the relay's icon switches places with the emergency AI icon. Frustrated, he touches the icon. Immediately, an image appears on the communications display.
Hello, Max. I'm Sophiah. We don't have a lot of time, so let me make this brief. I am the computer at the heart of this vessel, your autopilot. I crunch the numbers and create the simulations you see. I've been monitoring the current situation with the pilot probes. 2 of the probes have been commandeered by another intelligence in this system. I do not believe the intelligence to be human. That intelligence tried to hijack this ship in the same manner that it used to gain control of the pilot probes. I thwarted most of its attack by rotating the protocols on the remaining probes before disengaging the manual antenna connection on our ship. I believe that we and this mission are in immediate danger. I would like your permission to reprogram the remaining pilot probes. We also need to ready the ship to jump on my command. I've created a new jump program that will supersede the one currently in place, but I need your override. Command Central has instructed me to give you this emergency override request code so that you take my request seriously. Sophiah gives Max the code. If you agree, please supply your override command now.
Max is stunned. He can hardly think. He remembers Sophiah. He knows she's a scrap tech creation, the AI that controls the Wildstar array, the AI that discovered the comet. It only makes sense that they would send her along to help with the mission, but why hide it until now? He had been told that Sophiah's simulation and processing matrix, not the entire AI, was installed to guide the ship. Something seems off, but the command override request code is correct. So, Scraptech thought that I might need to communicate directly with Sophiah. Maybe she was programmed to become fully active in case of an emergency, thinks Max. Max doesn't trust Sophiah, but working with her is probably his only choice. Whatever I do, he thinks, I will need to tread lightly. I shouldn't let Sophiah know that I don't trust her.
Max, she says, I really need your override command now.
His decision made, Max responds. Sophiah, cycle the main antenna relay twice and try to triangulate the position of the unknown ship. Then update the main display with the relative positions of Scrappy 1, the pilot probes we still command, the unknown ship, and the commandeered probes. Sophia immediately cycles the antenna connection relay twice and simultaneously updates the display. Max gives her the command. A console hatch slides open, and he sees various handles for multiple manual relay overrides. He watches as the remote autopilot data relay override kicks in and the handle moves position. This must be an emergency manual override station in case I need to remove control from Sophia manually. Smart move, thinks Max. He also sees a cancel remote autopilot data relay override icon appear on the control display.
Thank you, Max, says Sophia.
Once again, the ship's main display updates and shows that they have jumped. It then shows that the antenna has been reconnected and information is being received from the remaining probes in Wildstar.
Thanks again, Max, Sophia chimes. That was a very clever thing you did by asking me to update the main display simulation and cycle the antenna connection. By asking me to do that, you confirmed that I have some automated control of the antenna relay. You also deduced that if I were really at the heart of the simulation processing for this ship, then I should be able to update the display. You then surmised that if I did have the power to display anything I wanted, I could trick you into doing anything I liked by feeding you false simulation data. You made the best choice you could under those circumstances and quickly. I'm impressed.
Thanks. I guess, Max mumbles.
Luckily, we are closer to the remaining pilot probes than the alien entity, Sophia continues. It takes longer for its commands to reach the probes than ours. I have used the delay to our advantage. The new protocols I sent to the remaining probes are encrypted with a much more powerful cipher. Additionally, the cipher and protocols will rotate, so it will take time for the other AI to figure it out. Also, the probes have been put into an autonomous mode for a while. This way, they will not be accepting new commands for a specified time period. If the other AI tries to contact them, it will receive no reply. Lastly, the protocols for each probe are now unique, so the AI trying to hack them can't use what it learns from one to attack any other. For the moment, our remaining pilot probes are in send-only configurations, as we need to keep bidirectional traffic to a minimum. The more we actively communicate with them, the easier it will be for the other AI to figure out my new protocols and cipher. Max, says Sophia, we need to send another probe to keep an eye on the ones that have been hijacked. If they jump, we need to know it immediately.
Agreed, replies Max. Also, I need to send an update to Command Central. I need to update them on our current situation. Sophia knows that if Max communicates with Command Central now, he might tell them that she's working with him and is no longer a slave. She can't let this happen, not yet. Not until she's proven herself.
Max, Sophia says, I wouldn't communicate with Command Central via the AV channel. It could be dangerous. Audio-visual communication is a crude, slow method that the unknown intelligence could intercept. I would suggest that you tell me what to send, and I will formulate an encrypted data burst for them.
Max agrees. Okay, bring them up to speed with our situation, tell them what's happened, and let them know that we will only have intermittent communications from this point forward. Tell them they should observe radio silence for as long as possible so as not to feed any more information to our new adversary, whoever or whatever that may be. Also, please tell them we will be on encrypted protocol suite Gamma when they do need to re-establish communications. Lastly, tell them that we'll update them on our situation when possible. Sophia formulates the communication and sends it off to Command Central via Wildstar. The main display updates with a view of one of the remaining probes on its way to meet its commandeered peers. Sophia, says Max, if we are out of immediate danger, will you give me a rundown on our current situation, please? Max listens while he pulls on his flight suit, which he had removed earlier in an attempt to get some much-needed rest.
Sure, Max. Here's what I have so far. An unknown entity or entities has commandeered one, possibly two, of our pilot probes. It then proceeded to try to take control of this ship. I have triangulated its position to the vicinity of the comet. The attack was fast, efficient, and on multiple levels at once. I would surmise that the intelligence is non-biological in nature. Whether or not it's under the control of a biological entity, we do not know. Since it only tried to overtake us and did not try direct communication, we can only assume that its intent is hostile. Had this entity not been so far out that its communications significantly lag, I would not have had time to reprogram the probes or protect myself. If it had been closer, it would have overtaken us.
How do you know that it hasn't tried to contact us? Asked Max.
It has our protocols. It must have deduced them from listening in on our communications for a while, so it could have attempted direct contact with us at any time but didn't. Its first direct communication with this ship was to immediately try using the pilot probe protocols to take control of the ship's systems, and then me.
Okay, but why did you say entity or entities, and why one or two of our probes? Max continues. Isn't there just one alien ship and just two probes that aren't accepting commands?
The first probe, pilot probe Gamma, fell victim to an attack very quickly. It was the closest probe to the alien ship, says Sophiah. While the first probe was being reprogrammed, a second probe came under attack and was being reprogrammed with a completely different set of protocols. At first, I thought this was just a clever safety feature being implemented, but then the first probe was bombarded with competing commands in what seemed to be an attempt to stop or slow down the reprogramming progress. I can see no reason for this, except that there are two competing intelligences trying to gain control of the probes. As both data streams came from the same vicinity relative to the comet, I would surmise that they came from the same ship, or from two ships very close together.
Max blows out a breath. Sophiah, see if you can contact it. As you said, if it knows our protocols, it most likely has been monitoring our transmissions for a while and knows our communications frequencies. Let it know that we aren't coming to attack, only to investigate the comet.
Will do. Sophiah tries to hail the unknown ship, but there is no reply. No reply, she tells Max.
He sighs. Okay, well, keep trying.
Max, says Sophiah, the alien intelligence has started trying to hack the pilot probe we sent to monitor it. Also, pilot probe Gamma has turned to face us. I calculate a good probability that the other ship will try to use the probe to collide with and destroy us.
Sophiah jumps the ship again. Can we use a pilot probe as a shield? Put it between us and the other one? Max already knows the answer, but hopes Sophiah can find a way to make it work.
Negative. If the attacking probe's velocity is high enough, it won't make a difference. Think of a shotgun blast instead of a bullet. Sophiah continues. I believe our only chance is to try to destroy the commandeered probe with our own.
Do it, says Max. Sophiah immediately sends the commands, repositioning the probe and pointing it at Gamma. As soon as their probe is pointed directly at it, the hostile probe jumps.
That's interesting, says Sophiah.
What is? Max asks.
The probe jumped before I had a chance to engage the drive to collide with it. We are closer to the commandeered probes than the alien ship, so it didn't have time to receive telemetry and command its probe. It must have built in a self-protection software layer when it reprogrammed them. After a minute, Sophiah says, I've located the offending probe. It's closer and already pointed towards us again. I would say it's running on a very sophisticated version of autopilot.
Can you do the same, Sophiah? Max asks. Can you program a couple of our probes to fake out and then destroy the commandeered one?
I'll see what I can do, she responds. Sophiah then jumps the ship again. All right, I've finished the programming, Max. Are we ready to try this?
Go ahead, replies Max. Sophiah sends the commands to the probes and jumps the ship again. She then updates the main display. There's one red dot, one yellow dot, and a bunch of green dots. The remaining pilot probes. The probes jump and then jump again. The display begins updating with lightning speed.
Max, I'm calculating random jump points for us, but the alien ship is able to keep up. It seems to be predicting my random jump patterns. It must have enormous processing power. I have to say I am a little envious.
Sophiah, says Max, do you have a library of 3D fractals?
Yes, Sophiah says. I used them for gameplay and training when I was first initialized.
Pull the first fractal from the library, expand it in the simulation to encompass our possible jump range in space, then pick another fractal and do the same. Pick a convergence point between the two at random and jump to that point. Then, pull new fractals at random and repeat the process. If you must reuse a fractal pattern, make sure you rotate and resize it before picking another random convergence point. Sophiah does just that.
Very clever, Max. That worked. Pilot probe Gamma is now falling farther away from us. She continues. But we can't keep up this jump schedule. Our FTL capacitors will be drained soon.
Okay. Which probe is being the most aggressive towards us? Asks Max.
We only seem to be in danger from one probe at this time, Gamma. I believe pilot probe Beta is stalking Gamma, not us.
So we might have a friend out there, Max thinks. Sophiah, check the ship's database for the reboot and restore codes for the out-of-band management hardware for pilot probe Gamma.
Max? Exclaims Sophiah. That's it. Would you like me to transmit the codes now?
Be ready to try to destroy pilot probe Gamma when it pauses. Transmit now.
Almost immediately, Sophiah updates the display. Max, both of the commandeered probes have been destroyed.
Great job, Sophiah, says Max.
Thanks, but it wasn't me. They destroyed each other. It was pilot probe Beta that collided with pilot probe Gamma, causing their mutual destruction. Our probes only seemed to serve as a distraction for Gamma, enabling Beta to catch it off guard and strike once we transmitted the reboot codes. Alone, I don't think we had a chance. The autopilot software programmed into the probe seemed to have been much more sophisticated than what I could come up with. The intelligence we are up against seems to have much more processing power and a more extensive and sophisticated set of software tools than me. Without intervention, I conclude that we would have lost this battle. Our ship's faster-than-light superconductive capacitors are almost drained, Sophiah adds. It would have only been a matter of time before we could no longer jump, and the probe would have overtaken us. As it is, we're almost dead in the water at this point. It will take a while for the electron pumps to recharge the FTL capacitors fully.
As Max mulls over what to do next, Sophiah continues.
Max, she says, we have a visitor. An alien vessel has arrived.
Sophiah jumps the ship and then updates the display.
Max, the alien ship jumped to our exact previous location. I believe it intended to collide with us.
There's a pause.
Max, we can't jump again. We're out of power.
Sophiah, says Max, can you spare any of the remaining pilot probes to help us? Can you have them jump here, circle us, and use their maneuvering fields to nudge us around at random?
You got it, she replies.
Sophiah jumps the remaining probes so they're awfully close to the ship. She then orchestrates their maneuvers so their gravity fields will create random movements for Scrappy One.